Hey y'all, Jimmy and Lisa here with FindUsCamping. Today we're going to tell you what happens when you have travel plans in place and then, well, maybe not so much.
So we left Virginia. We had our travel plans all planned out. We were going to stop for a couple of days in Charleston with some friends, do some sightseeing. We were going to then head to the Tampa show and stay on site in Tampa at the RV show for a long weekend, like Wednesday through Sunday.
Which was pretty neat, by the way.
It is a pretty cool show. And then we were going to head to Orlando for a couple of weeks and visit some other friends. And then we were headed to Oak Alley RV Park, which is a new RV park in Webster, Florida. If you're not familiar, we've done a video. It's a really cool park, so you should check that out. He'll add like a card or a link or something somewhere. You'll want to check it out. It was a really neat place. And then we were going to head to North Carolina to visit some friends that we actually met RVing a year or so ago, I guess. And we were going to hang with them for a week, and then we were going back to Virginia. We were supposed to arrive home in Virginia on Valentine's Day. So, sounds like we have it all together. Everything's lined up. Everything's right the way it's supposed to be.
And then, as everybody knows this time of year, the forecast changed. So North Carolina, they were calling for snow. Who wants to camp in snow?
No,
not after you've been in Florida for how many weeks we were down here? My skin is getting kind of thin now, so we're not doing that. Can't go home. The forecast there went to ice, and
that's worse than snow.
We lost power for a couple of days from the ice. So home, no. North Carolina, no.
Do we stay in Florida? Do we just suck it up and go home?
So do we decide to stay in Oak Alley for another week? Who knows?
That was also a possibility. And then, out of nowhere, out of the blue, we get this phone call from a friend at home, and he says, "Hey man, when are y'all coming home?
Now,
what are you doing for Valentine's Day?" And so, we tell them, of course, well, we were supposed to do this, we're supposed to do that. They're calling for snow, they're calling for ice. Don't really know what we're doing, but probably we're just going to head home and we'll be home Valentine's Day. He says, well, I got tickets to the Daytona 500, which is on Valentine's Day. So I was thinking if y'all could manage to stay down in Florida for that long, then he and his wife would drive down and the four of us would go to the Daytona 500.
Darn, we got to stay in Florida another week?
But can I find a place to camp the week before the Daytona 500 in Florida, which is snowbird season, as most of you who RV know. That's not the best time to get into a spot in Florida. But I don't know. I'll give it a try. We'll see. I had pretty good luck last year getting in at the last minute. So I did. I found a spot.
That was another story.
There were a couple of campgrounds that were only like 20 minutes from Daytona. Of course, they were booked. But when we're at home, we used to go to the Richmond race all the time, and it's about 45 minutes to an hour drive to go to the Richmond race. So I found a campground about an hour away from Daytona. It's part of our 1,000 Trails membership, so it wouldn't cost me anything to stay there, and they had room. So I got us all booked up, and we decided that we would head over on Sunday, which was when we were supposed to be checking out of Oak Alley anyway, and we would just spend the week ahead. Just the two of us sightseeing, seeing what there was to do in Eustis,
What is in Eustis, Florida?
Had never heard of it.
No idea what was in Eustis, Florida.
It's a pretty cool little town, as it turns out. Since we would be at the race for Valentine's Day, we decided to go to dinner downtown for Valentine's Day. We went, I think, Thursday night.
I'm not going on Valentine's or anywhere close to Valentine's.
Yeah, and we usually don't even really do Valentine's. So it's like, well, we'll find something fun to do. So we did find this neat little restaurant called CJs Seafood
Company.
Okay, CJs Seafood Company. I believe it was named after the owner's son. And so we go down, we park, we go to this little place, and we were trying to decide on an appetizer. So I asked the waitress because there was seafood nachos on the menu.
And they
were so good. She said, "Oh my God, they're so good. They're my favorite thing on the menu."
Well,
so
the waitress's favorite things on the menu, we got to get it. We got to try it.
Right. So we got the seafood nachos. They were so good. They had scallops and shrimp and mahi-mahi. And I'm pretty sure it was like crab dip instead of like the cheese sauce or cheese on top of them. Anyway, they were really good. And then this guy, of course, got a steak because
I like seafood, but
he likes steak.
I'd rather have a steak.
He got a steak, which I guess was good. It was a steak. I mean, you're a seafood restaurant, so I got the shrimp and grits. The shrimp, he can tell you the shrimp was good.
I ate the shrimp.
He doesn't like grits. He doesn't like grits, but they were Gouda cheese grits. They were so good. Anyway, dinner was fabulous. Shout out to CJs Seafood restaurant, seafood. I don't know. Anyway, shout out. Their food was really good. Then we headed down the street. So Eustis has this cool little downtown area. So we walked a couple blocks down the street to an ice cream shop called Yo Ho Ho Ice Cream.
Nitrogen ice cream.
Nitrogen ice cream. Nitro. Yo Ho Ho Nitro Ice Cream. So the way it works is you pick your base. So you either start with vanilla or chocolate. This is just standard.
I'm not an ice cream fan to start with, but
it was pretty good.
This ice cream was pretty good.
So they do have options. So they have regular ice cream. They have sugar-free. And they even had some keto options. But just for the basic, normal, run-of-the-mill ice cream, you choose either chocolate or vanilla as your base. And then you choose, I think it's 2 mix-ins, and then you pick a Monin flavor. So, and I think that's how you say it. You know, like the syrups that they use at like Starbucks and the other coffee shops for flavor. They have those flavors.
Foo-foo flavors.
All kinds of flavors at this place. And, or you can pick some that they already have, you know, some pre-made recipes that other people have come up with. So, like, I got the mint cookies and cream. So the Monin flavor was green mint, and then they added in Oreo cookies. Maybe that's all they added in. I don't know. It tasted like a thin mint Girl Scout cookie. So they take your base and they put it in this stainless steel bowl, and then they add your mix-ins, so like your Oreo cookies, or Jimmy got strawberry cheesecake.
That's right,
cheesecake. So they added in strawberries and cheesecake to his, and then they just chop it up in this bowl. So they were mixing and chopping. And once they get all the mix-ins mixed in and chopped into little bitty pieces, then they pour in liquid nitrogen. And
very cold.
Very cold. So, of course, it's like steaming, and it looks like a witch's cauldron or something really cool. And they stir, and chop and mix until it gets hard, like ice cream. And then they scoop it out and they put it into your cup. And of course you can have whipped cream if you'd like, and you can have a drizzle of like chocolate or whatever if you'd like that as well. It's truly up to you, but they make it from a liquid to frozen ice cream right in front of you, and you are custom blending your own flavor. So that was fun. And it was really good. We went more than just that one night. So
4, 5, 6
we've been
times,
several
maybe?
times. It's pretty yummy.
Thank you. You too.
And then,
so we enjoyed the ice cream so much. After we got done with the ice cream, we decided to do a little bit of walking around.
so when you have ice cream, you should exercise afterwards.
Well, you had keto one time, so you didn't have to exercise as much. But we ended up walking downtown to an area right on the waterfront. Beautiful little park.
So it's called like Eustis Lake Walk and Farron Park, I think is what it was called. It's a huge area down there right on the bank of Lake Eustis. So it's just this huge park that's right on the water. At one end they have this huge playground, climbing equipment, swings, everything for the kids. At the other end, they have this really neat memorial with like the different flags for the different branches of the military, the big American flag right in the middle. And it says down at the bottom, it was like because it's in Lake County, so it was a memorial for any Lake County veterans, men, women, whatever. So that it's kind of cool.
Of course, we got to watch it while the wind was blowing down, the sunset was coming down. Beautiful place right
beautiful
there.
Sunsets. They even have like a walking park. So like we went down there several nights, even if we didn't go get anything to eat. We went down
almost every night we were here.
And yeah, unless it was raining. And hung out by the water. There's people sitting on the wall along the water because you can sit and there's a place to walk. So people are down there fishing every night. People are down there walking the track, walking their dogs,
feeding the squirrels.
There was a lady feeding the squirrels
out of her hand.
Yeah, literally, she had a bag. I don't know what she had, but she would hold it down and the squirrels.
Must have been squirrel food because they loved it.
It's probably some kind of peanuts or something. But they would take it right out of her hand, so that's cool. It was just a really pretty place. We got some great sunset pictures one night, and just a fun place to hang out. And then when when the sun goes
When
down.
the sun goes down,
The lights come on. So when you first walk into that park, there's this huge, there's like a fountain in the middle, and it has I don't know if you call it a sculpture or I don't know what you call it, but it's made out of stainless, and it's this big heron, and he's right in the center of this water fountain. So when you're walking into the park towards that big fountain, there's palm trees all along the side. So when the sun goes down, the lights come on. They have lights strung all the way around the palm trees, and then the walking track is on the other side, and in the center there's all these big trees. They're not palm trees. I don't know what kind of trees they were, but they had
I'm not a Florida native, so I don't know what all the trees
No, me neither. But since they couldn't go up the trunk of the tree like on a palm tree, they had these huge, like this big, huge.
Imagine what they had in Florida hanging from the trees. They look like icicles.
Icicle lights. These great big icicle lights hanging
It's been
from the
almost
trees.
80 degrees every day that we've been here, and they have icicles.
Yeah, so
hanging
it's
from the
nice and
trees.
warm. You're out there. The sun's gone down, and it looks like you're in this winter wonderland. Of course, there's no snow or ice, but icicle lights and
it's
trees.
the kind of winter wonderland I like to see.
Yeah.
I'd much rather see that than
much
be in
better
that
than
ice.
the ice that was going on at home during the same
Sorry, guys.
time.
Sorry, all of you at home.
And then as we walked out of the park and back up to where we had parked, we're walking back through that downtown area that, of course, the sun has gone down and the street lights have come on.
And it's all lit up down there, too.
All lit up. So all the trees that line the streets have lights there as well. It's just a really, really neat place.
So finally, after all that, Friday gets here. And our friends drive all night
Overnight.
long to get to the race. They want us to meet them.
We're going to meet Saturday.
Saturday morning at Daytona. We're going to meet them at Daytona because they want to see
at the beach.
The sunrise, as we see the sunset every day.
Right.
They want to see the sunrise over Daytona Beach. Or not Daytona Beach.
So how cool. Like, they're going to get there Saturday morning really early. We're going to get up early, drive in and meet them.
And
we're going to see the sunrise.
The sun rose, but...
Fog.
A lot of fog.
No sunrise. I mean, okay, so the sun did rise, but we couldn't see it.
And then they said
fog and like this misty, miserable.
Well, where we parked right there, we were trying to meet them for breakfast. You were also allowed to drive on the beach.
But the tide was in. So
the tide was all the way in, so you weren't even allowed to drive on the beach.
Couldn't do that either.
So we drove all the way down there to get to sunrise.
No sunrise.
Then we said, okay, we'll drive on the beach, and we said, can't drive on the beach.
Can't do that either.
So we went ahead and went to breakfast, and we said maybe after breakfast we can drive on the beach.
Except the water was up even further when we got done with breakfast. So we did walk on the beach, did get a few pictures, but they're just pictures on the beach. However, Candace found this cool little place to eat breakfast. It was called the Beach Bucket. And it is inside of a resort there. I don't remember the name, but it's right on the beach. So you could either eat inside the restaurant, or they had a patio outside that was right on the beach.
And we didn't eat outside because it was foggy.
Because it was
and
foggy
wet
and
misty
rainy and just
nasty.
miserable outside. But
so while we're sitting here thinking while we're eating breakfast, we hope it doesn't do this at the race.
True story. Because that would be miserable for it to rain at the race. But let me tell you about my breakfast at the Beach Bucket.
Let me tell you about my breakfast.
I got the Eggs Benedict, but instead of being on Canadian bacon...
She ruined it by taking the meat off.
I just replaced it. Instead of having Canadian bacon, which doesn't really do much for me, they had an option where you could get blue crab.
Keep the Canadian bacon.
It was amazing. Came with home fries. They were good too. But the best part was that blue crab on that Eggs Benedict. It was to die for. So
I got an omelet with all kinds of meat.
Fog.
Back to the meat.
No sunrise pictures. No great walk on the beach. However, breakfast made up for all of that because breakfast was really good.
So then, after breakfast,
we drive back
so everybody can rest and relax.
because we got to go to the race tomorrow. We can't all be sleepyheads. We have to go to the race tomorrow. That's a big thing. So Sunday morning gets here. Everybody gets up. They're calling for rain, but when we got up, it wasn't raining. The sun was out.
Thunderstorms. They're calling for thunderstorms.
But it's Florida, so they have thunderstorms. It can be beautiful and sunny, and then it rains, and then the sun comes back out. So we're not going to let that stop us. We're headed to the race. So we get up, we get all our stuff together, we get ready. We stop along the way, we grab some lunch, and we head to the track. We had great tickets. We had infield seating, infield parking.
The seats were on top of the garages.
Yeah.
With a table and 4 chairs.
Right on the railing. We're looking over, so just kind of catty corner from where we were. We are looking straight at the first pit box, which was Joey Logano's pit box. And we're over top the garage, so anybody that wrecks...
So all the cars that wreck
they have to come by right in front of us. So
it's pretty...
Not that you want somebody to wreck, but it is pretty cool to see them. I mean, I don't want to make
you want somebody to get hurt, but you want to
make it hurt. But it was kind of cool to watch the cars come through. And we drove right in, parked, walked right to our seats. You couldn't have asked for anything better than that. Like, we didn't have to wait in traffic. We didn't have to wait in any lines. We just pretty much walked in and took our spot, which was amazing. And we were lucky enough that we timed everything just right. So we pulled in, we got through security, we got up to our seats, and we were just in time for his favorite part of the race. The national anthem and the
flyover, which this time was with the Thunderbirds.
And they didn't just fly over one time.
Or twice.
3 times.
3 times they came over.
They flew over 3 times.
I don't know if you guys ever been to one of those, but
awesome.
It makes chills going your back, your neck, and your arms. So they did it 3 times.
And
over
loud.
And over.
Good Lord,
well,
wasn't
the jet
loud.
Is pretty loud.
But
right?
it was so cool.
So, when we were there...
15 laps. We got 15 laps.
15 laps. Then the crash came, the big crash, which who crashes in 15 laps? But anyway, I guess it was perfect timing. Because the rain started coming. Then, after the rain started coming, we said, well, we'll stay here for a little bit. It's not raining that hard. And then...
Well, and one time they said they're going to dry the track. They took the trucks out, they started drying the track, and we got back up to our seats.
And then thunder and lightning. Big thunder
lightning.
And lightning. And they said, everybody get off the bleachers, go find something to do.
So what do? Well, when you're on top of the garage, you go down.
To the garage.
And the way they have it laid out, you can step right under the cover and look through the window into the garages. So we walked around and checked out from, our side, the garages, and that was all cool and fun.
Which there wasn't many cars in there yet because they had to cover everything up.
The one that was in the big wreck, and that was okay. But eventually, you do that, and then you grab a drink, and
you do that, and you grab another drink.
Then it's like, okay, it's raining, and there's nowhere to go, and how long, and it's pouring, and you start looking at the forecast, and it's going to pour.
It's not giving up.
Yeah, it's going to pour for a long time.
10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night, I think, is what the radar is showing.
We drove an hour to get to the race. We didn't drive all the way from Virginia.
And they drove 10 hours to get down.
They drove all the way, all night long to get down to go to the race. And so who are we to say, you know what, guys, let's go. This is ridiculous. So finally, Alan says, you know what, we're not going to sit here in the rain. Let's just call it a day. Probably they're not going to race anyway. So we go to the truck.
Because you never know. They don't tell you that we're going to postpone until 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. They just hold you there until.
A lot of people had left, though. When we went back out to the truck, there were a lot of people gone. So we got in the truck and we headed out. And then we decided, hey, let's just stop and grab some dinner somewhere. Because we've all been standing outside in the sun.
There's a common denominator here with us.
And the rain. Well, we always eat because, duh. So we decided to stop and go grab something to eat. So we did. We stopped and got something to eat, and while we were there...
We kept checking the radar, and then they say...
We're going to race.
We're driving the track. And it looked like on the radar that it's
going to be clear.
It was clear enough. So we jumped back in the truck and we drive another 45 minutes to the race, which was great because this time there was nobody in the parking lot at all. So we were able to park even closer to where we wanted to go. We walked back up top. We got to our seats, dried everything off, and me being in Florida for 3 weeks
in his shorts,
in my shorts because I was sweating. I was hot the first time. Now I'm shivering cold. And I'm not buying a
He's not
hoodie.
spending $100 on a hoodie because he's too cheap to do that.
A NASCAR hoodie. I'm not spending that for that.
He's too cheap for that, so he stands there and shivers until finally Alan says, I think I have a spare coat in the truck because we all have hoodies on. And
the truck wasn't that far away, so back
Alan
normal.
Goes
we're watching
and
the race
him,
now.
Grabs him a jacket so that he's not cold anymore. And we finish watching the race. And who won the race?
Michael McDowell.
Okay, Michael McDowell won the race. So,
which is his first ever race.
Yeah, they said it was his first ever cup race. So
So
Daytona's a pretty cool first ever win in a cup race.
Cool.
That's pretty awesome and pretty cool to see. Our first trip to Daytona and his first cup win ever, and it's there. So that was pretty neat. So quick shout out while we're here to our friends Alan and Candace Marshall, who came across the tickets, made the drive to Florida, shared the tickets with us, shared the experience with us. Neither one of us had ever been to a Daytona 500, so that was pretty cool. We had a great time. It was a little bit of a wet experience, but we had a lot of fun and enjoyed it. And it's just nice to know that when you feel like your travel plans have all just kind of fallen to pieces, that they all just fall back into place and you end up having a super great experience.
So if you're enjoying a lot of our mixed up crazy weeks that we're having in Florida,
crazy adventures.
We have a lot of crazy adventures, just like when we came to Florida last year and we didn't have a spot to stay because somebody got us here a day early. But that's what the RV life is all about. You never know what's going to happen, where it's going to go, what you're going to see, and what you're going to do. So if you are liking these, and we hope you're liking these, make sure you give us that thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe because you don't want to miss when we have another crazy adventure coming out.
Don't want to miss the next mishap.
So until the next time you find us camping, guys.
Safe travels, everyone.